r/ask Reddit by Redmond Dts. People with autism, what did you think was normal until a neurotypical person told you otherwise? We didn't know I had autism when I was a kid. My best friend in the whole entire world was an autistic girl in the grade below me, and when we became inseparable, my mom proactively explained that autistic people like to repeat things over and over and are uncomfortable making eye contact. I privately thought that autistic people should just do the repeating inside their heads, like everyone else does, and was horrified and deeply sympathetic that eye contact was even worse and more unpleasant for them than it already is. I'm one oblivious F. Believing exactly what people say when they say something, and being shocked when it turns out they didn't mean it the way they said it, and there was something in the way they said it that I was supposed to have picked up on. The opposite happens a lot too. Other people are not taking your own words literally. And this is very frustrating at times. A million times I need to tell people that's not what I said. People put words in your mouth all the time. People make assumptions based on what you say, or often even don't listen to what you say, but they respond to the thing they think and assume that you were about to say. That's often with people that don't let others finish their sentences. It's like their brain already decided what others said, so they respond to that. The fact that I have to consciously tell myself to show expressions during conversations. It's time to smile now. People are laughing. I need to laugh too. Remember to look at the person talking, etc. For so long, I just thought that was how people worked. The fact that it comes natural for most people is still kind of hard to understand. I've been told I forget to smile when I laugh, lol. Apparently people can have conversations with others in a loud environment. I had my hearing etc. checked, cause I just legitimately can't hear a word people say at parties etc. And yeah, nah, just sensory processing disorder. I only just this year learned the term maladaptive daydreaming, and I had no idea it was uncommon to space out so thoroughly in one's head as to be completely oblivious to all external sensory input for an hour or longer. I always thought it was completely normal to rehearse conversations in my head before having them, like full-on scripts for every possible response. When someone finally told me most people don't do that, I was honestly shocked. It blew my mind that people just wing social interactions without a mental rehearsal. Still can't imagine how that works. I overheard my mom having a conversation when I was 14, and she said I never asked my friends to hang out first. She was right. I had never approached someone to be friends with me, and I never contacted my friends to chat or hang out. It didn't occur to me that I should until then. I made a point of going out of my way to talk to people after that because I didn't want to be seen as a weirdo. But yeah, I still forget that I'm supposed to want to talk to my friends. I'm neurotypical but my wife is autistic, and we had a dinner party with her work friends. They work at an elementary school. The other women said that teaching special ed is hard because they have to learn to communicate with the kids. She said teaching special ed is easy for her, and she finds it harder to communicate with general ed kids. Needing people to have factually correct information. I was in my late 30s before I understood that it was considered rude by neurotypical people to correct their incorrect beliefs about the world. If something I believe to be true is wrong, then I would like to be corrected with reliable sources, of course. Who wants to walk around scientifically incorrect information? I was baffled by people who broke the rules. For me, everything and anything has a set of rules, and I followed them without question, beating myself up for being a terrible person if I didn't. I got so upset when other people just did what they wanted, like they were cheating. I would even end friendships if I couldn't cope with their disregard of the rules. It took years of therapy to realize that the rules were in my head. Quite literally, I was the only one who knew them because I had written them. The kicker, I can change the rules. If they don't suit me, I can make exceptions to the rules. I can add caveats, and I can delete them. It was very liberating, but I struggle with it, because I need that structure and security in order to function. It's a balancing act. To address the specific question, it took someone else, my therapist, to tell me. Now I understand that not everyone has rules, and specifically, they don't know my rules. I was shocked, because I realized how much of my life was spent resenting people who hadn't actually done anything wrong per se, but just didn't know the rules in my head. I mean, how could they? Thought it was normal to have to learn human behavior and reactions. I had a journal as a kid, where I wrote down what certain actions or facial expressions or body language meant. Showed it to a friend, who said, "Duh, everyone knows that, like you're born knowing." I thought it was normal to obsessively research my interests, until I knew everything about them. Want to buy a side table? Let me Google every possible side table available in my country, and measure the required height 3 times, and go through a process of elimination, where the suitable candidate must be aesthetically pleasing as well as provide the necessary tasks I require of a side table. It gets freaking exhausting at times. I have ADHD, and I always thought it was normal for my mind to have a constant dialogue with itself. Like, all day, every moment I'm awake, it's like there are 2 people having a conversation in my head. I used to think everyone was like that. Now I know it's just an us thing. Like, I swear you I'm not crazy. When I started to figure out I was autistic a few years ago, my husband commented about the fact that I don't try to make people like me. I was like, what do you mean? He explained, most people try to endear themselves to the people around them, such as with co-workers or in-laws. I was like, I'm supposed to be doing that? I didn't think it was any of my business what people thought of me, let alone that I was supposed to be trying to make people like me. Edit, I should clarify that I'm not rude or mean to people, it's just that I'm bad at being disingenuously cheery and bubbly, and any people-pleasing tendencies I have are more about getting people to leave me alone than getting people to like me. My sensory perception. I honestly thought that everyone else could taste the difference after a company changed the recipe, or just how much over certain fabrics felt, and just how many feel like sandpaper. I thought the lights were loud for everyone. Standing around awkwardly when going over to someone's house, because you're unsure if it would be rude to sit without an invitation. Even if you've been there a million times. And when you do sit down, you sit in the same place you always do, because it's been established that you can, in fact, sit in that specific chair. Until I was 10. I thought it was normal to rearrange numbers in my head. For example, if I read 907, I'll add the 9 and the 7 and push the 0 to the back, and have 160. I explained this to my friend, and he looked at me like I escaped Arkham Asylum. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more. Have a nice evening. Tell your friends about me.